What is going on, DMG Clan? Today we're going to be modifying the GameCube controller with some new buttons. So let's jump in and learn how to mod this thing. That is right, DMG Clan. Today we're going to be modifying the Nintendo GameCube controller with some new buttons. I might utilize the C stick still, as it still looks okay, with the Extreme Rate button kit that you can find on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. It does come with a screwdriver kit. Now, if you don't want to use this screwdriver kit, you can use your own screwdriver kit like I have right here, which I like myself. I will put a link in the description below for this kit. It's a really nice kit that I use. It has a whole bunch of bits and drivers and everything that you basically need and maybe never use at some point in your life for doing any modifications like this. Now, I might actually try to use these screwdrivers. I don't really like these screwdrivers. This is my favorite screwdriver that I like to use. I might use, maybe if there's a Phillips one in here, I might try to use that just to show you guys how it works and what we're up against. Now, we're going to be utilizing another website here called ifixit.com. I use this site myself quite often nowadays because it gives you a little bit of insight as to how to take things apart, and it gives you a little bit better, less anxiety, I guess, on taking anything like this apart if you've never done anything like this before. I've taken a lot of things apart before. I've never taken apart a GameCube controller, but from what I can see on the screen, it actually looks like it's not too bad. Now, my voice kind of sounds a little bit different today because I've been sick all week with a cold, but whatever. Despite that situation, I'm also going to have some rubbing alcohol ready because I'm going to be cleaning this thing because it's really disgusting. I found this at a pawn shop and I got it at a decent deal because the joystick was kind of gross. As you can see, there's some grossness in there. So we will start with that. I use plastic tools usually for scraping out any gross crud or anything like that as well. Now, there is a bunch of grossness in the crevices of this right here. It is just gross how controllers turn out. It's really disgusting, but we're going to be taking this apart to clean it anyways, so we won't be able to see any of that. Now, what I like to do with anything like this, because there's probably gunk and Cheetos and whatever else in there, I'm going to grab some rubbing alcohol and spray it. Just spray it all down and get it ready to go. Spray my hands because I feel gross with doing that already. And a little brush like this is good for cleaning the boards off. Now, I have a 3.0 bit here. I just thought this one would work, and I think it does. Which, yeah, that 3.0 bit, if you're going to be using just your own toolkit, is what we're going to be using. And like I said, we're just going to be following along with iFixit because ifixit.com actually has everything you need. Screwdriver controllers aren't really the hardest thing to take apart, in my opinion. Now, keeping your screws kind of organized on this little pad that I have here is a very beneficial thing with the 1, 2, 3, 4, all these numbers on the side here. Just remember where you kept everything. That's why taking a video like I am right now is actually a really good idea, because you can just keep an eye on stuff and then you can actually go back and look at your video and say, oh, okay, that's where I put those screws. Now, these 4 screws, they look like they're pretty much the same, so it doesn't really matter, and I'm hoping that this kit maybe has some new screws in it. I like to use the original screws sometimes just because they do screw in better if we're using the same shell, because we're not using a different shell for this. We're just going to be swapping out these buttons. Now, these button kits, I bought a cool looking purple button kit. I hope it kind of looks cool at least. And we're going to see if it actually looks really nice. I read the reviews. Amazon reviews are always back and forth. You know, some people are like, oh, I hate these things. Some people are like, I love these things. And I hope that the second one, or the second option, is the case in this scenario. So taking these things apart, like I said, is just kind of a tedious, take your time task. But controllers, I always take apart my like Xbox controllers and stuff and clean them. This, like I said, is disgusting beyond belief. Now, I'm going to take this and put it in a soapy, watery Dawn dish soap bath after I take these triggers out and stuff. It looks like there's springs in here. I'm assuming that's what these springs are. Maybe they're replacement ones for inside there, which it feels like it is. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to put this in a soap bath, and then I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do with the rest of this board. Now, anytime I take anything apart and I've never done it before, I kind of just investigate things, kind of look at where everything is. Now, like that little cord there, where did my rubber, there it is right there. My plastic little spudger tool, I'm going to pop that off and not ream on anything. That's one big thing that ends up leaving you with a broken console. Now, look how gross that is in there. That is disgusting. Look at the animal hair, human hair, all that. Look at the Cheetos. That is just gross. Look at this. Are you ready for this? Ew. I don't even want it. Ah. That is just so disgusting. There you go, guys. I don't know. That's probably Cheetos from like 2003. That is barf. Now, like I said, I'm going to put all of this inside some soapy water. This is... I don't know. I didn't get this from DK Oldies, guys, so don't think that I got it from there. So, this is from a pawn shop. I got a deal on it. Now, pawn shops aren't obligated, and they don't say that they end up refurbishing anything. They kind of just get stuff from people off the street, and then they try to resell it. But this board, like I said, oh, this part's going to pop off here. We got to be careful with that. I don't want to pop that off, actually, unless we can actually get that out of there. It looks like we could. So this little piece right here, and like I said, I try to investigate things. I am using iFixit.com's website here. Now, this is just a generic how to replace your joystick guide, which is pretty simple. But if you wanted to open your controller up to actually fix it and clean it, like I'm going to do with this thing as well, then this is what we would do. But this part is soldered. If you don't have any soldering skills, just be careful with this because it is soldered down with that little flex or that little cable there. And I'm just gonna see if we can actually, yeah, we can. So we can pop these out. So just be very careful with that. Don't ream on it if it doesn't come the first time. So like I said, I'm not really fully following that iFixit.com website, but if you want to do a full teardown, then this is a video for you. These little wires right here are thin, which is for the vibration motor, and I'm going to take this and use it and clean it as well. Now, everything else here, we have this wire right here. It looks like we should be able to pop the... I don't know if that'll pop out or not. I don't want to ream on that because it might not actually slide out, which it looks like it should. And I don't think it does. Let's double check this, see if they have a way to pop this out, which it doesn't look like it does. I think it's actually just the wires are popped right in there and soldered in there, which isn't at the end of the day, you know, like it's not going to be a big problem. But we can pop this joystick off, we can pop this C stick off, and like I said, this C stick doesn't look too bad. It could use some cleaning, and that's where we leave with this C stick. Like, it looks like this C stick is a little bit cheap. I don't know. We'll find out. So yeah, I'm gonna put that in the pile for cleaning, and it's not like we need to worry about this anyways. All we're gonna be doing with this is just taking it and dusting all that stuff off. I'm gonna dust it off on the side here on my floor because I don't want to get this thing too dirty. So that's what it looks like now that it's all dusted off, and we still have some grossness just sitting on the table here, where we can just take your little brush and just go like that. Maybe get everything out of the way. Maybe throw some rubbing alcohol on your rubber mat, and make sure you don't throw those screws all over the place there. And there we go. Our table's a little bit clean again. Alright, so the rest of this board, what I would suggest doing, be careful with this. This is a thin cable on the vibrator. So I would just take rubbing alcohol again, just like that. That's what I always do. And then slightly with your little brush again, you can go over it and then just go like this, just rub it down. You can use like a a Q-tip. I use my little brush just to get all these board contacts just cleaned up and everything. Get everything all nice and cleaned up so that it doesn't, you know, look gross anymore. I know I've been saying it looks gross quite a few times here, but this is just really disgusting. I didn't actually realize how disgusting it was until we opened it up. And you won't know. You won't know until you get this thing open. This is just something that kind of pops out when you get it open. Like, I've opened up certain things like power bricks before from my Xbox, and the power brick was so disgusting that I was like, how did that all get in there? But I guess there's a little fan in the actual power brick of the Xbox 360 at least, and the little fan keeps that cool, and that'll suck in any dust mites or anything like that, or anything that's floating around in the world. So there we go. That's about it for the board part. That's not really, you know, like, it's, if there's nothing wrong with your joysticks. Oh, this joystick's still pretty gross. Now we gotta, here, if you guys want to see some dust particles, there we go. Now you can use a cloth if you want to, just a little microfiber cloth to just dampen that down. It's up to you how you do it. You can use anything that's like nice and soft, but this is gonna air dry anyways. Now we need to put this off in a spot that's safe so that it doesn't end up getting wrecked. Again, I'm gonna just clean this off again, and like I said, all those screws, if I even move them, it's not a big deal. There's only a few screws there, so the rest of this stuff is gonna go off to the side. And then we're gonna have to try to figure out, oh, there's that C-stick, figure out how to get this out. So it looks like there are some Phillips screwdriver heads in there, so that's where we're going to leave with this. And oh, there are some new screws, so that's pretty cool. And it's not a lot of screws for this kit, which is great. So it looks like we have our 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then our 4 black ones, which are for our actual trigger buttons. So here we go. Let's put these over here. And oh, they are tri-wing as well, so that's great. So it's not like they're using Phillips screwdriver heads, which is awesome. Now this is the tri-wing screwdriver. We'll use this to actually put it back together after. And then this one, and this is actually a pretty solid little screwdriver. So at least they give you that. Not a lot of companies will give you screwdrivers. Now I'm going to throw that on the floor. And just remember how things come apart. Take a video if you want to. Do whatever you think is going to be helpful for you in the future. Now I'm going to put all the used ones in a different bucket up there. And this little mat, like, it's a pretty cool mat. You can close that bucket. I don't really close that. I recently just got this. So like I said, there is a spring up in here. And you could reuse this spring probably if it's not bad. And then keep these parts just set aside like this, because all we're doing is just changing out the triggers, right? So we could keep these parts for future use. Like, these triggers, they've seen their day. They've probably used a lot of gameplay with some Smash Brothers. Now I'm gonna put these in a box up here and make sure, like I said, keep things that are kind of organized to where you remember where they are. When you're doing anything like this, any mods, any hacking of, well, not, I guess hacking, but any mods, I guess, is really what you're doing here. It's just modifying stuff, or any cleaning, really cleaning. Because, like, you could just use this video for just learning how to clean your GameCube controller. If you have a GameCube controller lying around, take it apart. Grab this kit if you want to. Grab a little screwdriver kit. Take it apart. Look at it, the inside. See how disgusting it is. I'm going to do more of this kind of stuff on the channel as well. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this kind of stuff, because I like this kind of stuff, and I don't share a lot of it, but I said at the beginning of the year that I would start sharing this kind of stuff a lot more and show you guys just, you know, the process of taking anything apart, really. If there's an item that you want me to take apart, I have a PlayStation 2 that I'm going to be doing. I have a PlayStation 1 that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be taking apart the Wii and just kind of going over how to take it apart and clean it. Now, again, like I said, just some Dawn dish soap or dish soap of any sort that's really good at cleaning stuff. get yourself a little brush, like a toothbrush, to get inside any of the crevices, and then grab a little scrubber to just kind of scrape out any of this kind of stuff before you get into it. But if you just let this soak in some dish soap, then you'll be able to get this all nice and clean and everything back to normal. I'm going to go do that now, and I'll be right back when that is done, because look how freaking gross that is. Whoever owned this thing must have been eating lots of Cheetos. That's what I'm going to say. Or pizza. That's disgusting. Alright, I'll be right back. And here we go. Let these things dry. If you want to watch me clean this, I did a little short about this, so here are all the parts everywhere. Now, I did this inside of a bucket so that I wouldn't lose anything, and I think it turned out pretty good. I know I just kind of dumped everything out there, but here it all is. I'm going to still use some isopropyl alcohol after and kind of clean it all up. Use a cloth, give it a nice sterilization basically, and maybe give it a little bit of a shine. Probably not. It'll probably still look kind of faded because it is so old, but it'll make it look a lot cleaner when you put some rubbing alcohol on there. And I think I did a pretty good job at cleaning all these buttons up. These buttons look pretty nice. There's still some hair, I think that was from the towel. But these buttons look great. I'm going to put these buttons in the box because I'm going to be saving these. I don't think we need the rubber pads either, so I'm going to save those and put those over there. But yeah, I'm gonna use the new ones that they give me. And then I think they give you a D-pad and everything too, so I'm not sure exactly every button in here, so just keep all your buttons aside. If you want to use them later or fix another GameCube controller, here's the C-stick. And the inside of this was kind of gross, so I'm still gonna... I think I already sprayed this, but who knows. Here we go. Just give it another kind of clean. And then I'm going to use this thing. This thing kind of dries things and dusts things. This is my little duster for my keyboards and my other components. I'm just going to dry it up a little bit. And it looks like it's still pretty cruddy in there. Now, it's hard to get in there without actually getting a tooth or a Q-tip in there. So I'm going to take my cleaning rag here, kind of just get in there. So I just used a toothbrush for this part originally, but you could use a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohols. Just keep going at it. Now these parts right here, I think we should just maybe dust them off on the side, which that looks pretty good. Then we put that spring back on there. I am going to use the original springs for this since they do look like they're okay. Same with these parts here. And as you can see, there's some grossness right here too. And there we go. So the rest of these pieces were pretty good. Now, what about that start and select button? Or start and pause button? I want to get in there. Just want to make sure everything looks like it doesn't have Cheetos caked onto it anymore. I think that looks pretty clean. All the way around. It looks great. Now we got to wipe this table off again, I think, because we are pretty gross and I want to put all this stuff together and on a clean surface. So I'll just grab my rag again and just wipe this down. Kind of wipe it down onto the floor, and then we'll just vacuum it all up later. There we go. Alright. So, reversed way to put this all together. We're going to be starting off by dumping these buttons out because we want to put these buttons in there. This button kit, it looked pretty cool to me. Now the rubber membranes, I guess. Let's feel the buttons. Let's feel how nice they are. They actually don't feel too bad. Not too cheap feeling. They are kind of smoother than the original buttons. And we have, I think this button color kind of looks cool. It's like a purpley color. Now, it doesn't look like it has that metal tab, but maybe that metal tab is somewhere here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so we have the spring. We have the metal tabs. There's a couple metal tabs and a couple springs there. And they did include new spring clips and everything too. So if we want to reuse parts that are still good, we might as well, since we are using the original controller and everything that doesn't really have any issues with it. Now this piece right here, I think it just pops right in there. There's no instructions, so I'm kind of showing you how I do it, I guess. And then I'm assuming, yeah, that's gonna go over there, or no, over here, sorry. Thinking of this backwards. So yeah, that's gonna look pretty cool. I like that. All right, and then we're going to check out this C stick. Maybe this C stick might be okay. We'll see how that works out. It's also got the new membranes or the rubber pads for the start button, and it looks like there's a couple of, oh no, those are the top buttons for the actual springs. So that's the start button. These are the little rubber membranes for this part, which is inside of here if you're going to be swapping that out, so just keep those in the bag. And then I got the little box to put my spare parts in, which everything is just in there, so that's the original parts. Now, this C stick, I don't know, it's up to you. Maybe I'll put the new one in, because this one kind of has a little bit of whiting on it, I guess. I don't think that'll be... It still feels original. It still has that kind of rubbery feel to it, so I'm going to use the new one. Why not? Even the joystick feels okay. Let's put the joystick on top of this first, just like so. And it'll only go one way. And same with this joystick. Got to be careful. Alright. So, feels okay. Now we got the buttons. We're going to put the buttons in first, and this is going to look so cool. We got our D-pad. They only go in one way, so if it doesn't fit, don't try to ream it in there. And we got our B button. So this is for the D-pad. Then we got our start button, which is right here, hiding up there. Glad it was sitting there. And these rubber membranes only go in one way as well, so don't try to force anything if it doesn't work. Now, we just need to slide this back. I think... yeah, this piece was on the other side, if I remember correctly. So, we got to try to put this in here, make sure there's no hair. And hopefully seat this all in here nicely. And then this cord was just tucked up in there, if you remember. And that just sat out like that. I don't think there was any screws holding this down. Now it looks like there's screws right here, but I don't think that was a part of anything. And then this piece right here, I think, no, it was attached to this piece, so we gotta look at iFixit for a second again. Alright, so there's iFixit right there. So yeah, that piece was actually sitting like that. I thought so. But I think it goes like this. So iFixit, yeah, it does have a good picture for this one. Now we got to make sure that these rubber or these tabs right here, I think, are facing upwards. And oh yeah, we have to put these back in here too. So we got to slide these pieces back in. Just like so. They slide in really easily. And then there's that one there. And then I remember this cord went underneath this little slot right here for the actual vibrator motor. Now this vibrator motor sits upwards like this, so maybe that'll just slide right in after the fact. So let's get these pieces in first. And that cord just sits there. That's pretty decent. It's not really the hardest of installations, honestly, for a controller. The Xbox controller, mind you, is kind of a pain in the butt. Now, this little rubber, or not rubber, these little wires, just be careful, like I said before. You could actually use your rubber spudger. And just make sure, I think the cord just kind of sits there, that you're nice with it. And just slide it right underneath. And there we go. Alright, so yeah, there's no screws or anything, so that's one thing that we're gonna have to be careful of when we're moving it around. So let's get this back together too, and maybe we should have put this back together first, but that's not a big deal. So we got our right and our left. So this is right, then our left, oh, this way. Just like so. That looks pretty nice. And then I kept these springs on the sides that they're supposed to go in. So I think this goes this way, if I remember correctly, with the tabs down. Yeah, it does. So it latches into the little slots on the bottom there. I'll show you that on the other side when I get it. Now we gotta see if we can bring that in, maybe. I wonder if the reason why they gave us different ones is because this one won't fit. Oh no, it'll fit. Okay, so let's put this in like this. And some of this is all a trial and error thing, because I've never done this before, so it could be an interesting adventure. And there we go. So yeah, just hold that spring in there, just like so. And then there's little slots that you want to get those little pieces to slide into, I think. Which is great. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's look at the picture again. Maybe the picture will tell us a little bit better. Well, if it doesn't go, let's turn it around. Let's try that. Yeah, because my thought process, what I can see down here, is that these tabs should just stick on there, but maybe... Oh, it goes this way. It definitely goes this way. Okay, so see these little tabs right here? These face out, and then this piece. And maybe you guys remembered that. I don't know. We'll figure this out as we go along. Now make sure that that is facing the right way. And there we go. Now that's in. So now we want to get this on here. Probably. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Now we got this piece right here. We put this on, and then those tabs actually attach to this piece, so we can use our screwdriver. And the one that we got with it. So is this the tri-wing? That's the tri-wing. Where did our other one right there? And it is a little bit magnified. It doesn't really magnify too well. And that's where the other kit kind of comes in handy, because it has a magnifying screw. And then we lost it. Alright, so let's... I have the tri-wing sitting here, so this is probably just a 0. That's why I like this kit. This kit actually magnifies everything. And yeah, it is a 0. Or not magnifies, magnetizes. And even these secondary screws, they gave you extra. They fit pretty good. Now that's the old ones right there. And the old ones look a little bit longer, but yeah, still loud and clicky. Just like the original GameCube buttons, because they are pretty clicky. And there we go. As soon as it sits in this little slot right here, there's like a little spot right there that it'll sit in. It's good to go. Then we got this plastic piece that slides these 2 tabs. There's 2 tabs right there. And of course, at least they gave you extra ones just in case you broke yours or something, or they were old and broken. We got some extra screws now. Also, we can put those back in the baggies if we want to. And then keep it in that box inside of your extra parts drawer. And that seems like about it. That's pretty awesome. Let's put this back on here now. That chunker of a vibrator is gonna seat in there somehow, so we got to try to put this all back together all at once. And there we go. It should just drop right in, just like that. Now, let's swap this out. And let's use the new screws, too. We might as well. Since they're clean. Because I didn't clean the other screws. And there we go for the big reveal. Buttons feel original still. The top button feels like it's ready to go. And there it is. I think that looks pretty slick. These buttons feel actually really nice, to be honest. They don't feel cheap. And these are still loud feeling. And yeah, that is cool. And this still feels good. I can't say that this feels bad at all, actually. I was kind of worried about the C-stick feeling too cheap, I guess, but that feels really good. I like that. That looks good. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you want me to mod some more controllers like this, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, share, comment. Thank you, members, for being members. Thank you, subscribers, for joining the DMG Clan. My name is Jordan, or Mr. DNA, whatever you want to call me. I like to mod stuff, gaming stuff. I like to game. I like to share gaming stuff. And I just like doing YouTube. Have a nice day. Don't forget to subscribe again. Become a member if you want to gain more perks. Jump on over to the video link below if you want to learn how to enter for the Odin 2 Pro giveaway, because we're going to be running that very soon as we are approaching 6,000 subscribers. I'm going to go play some Nintendo GameCube on my tablet now.